How many of you remember 2008 elections? This new guy made all these massive promises, knew exactly what needed to change in America, promised every single one of those things as he's campaigning. Wins the election. You may know him as Barack Obama. And there is a famous video of a lady in tears, basically, and she said something along the lines, if I struggle to make my mortgage payment, Obama's gonna be there for me. If I can't put gas in my car, Obama's gonna help me get gas in my car. You know, she was just so excited. This man won. Massive hope and change is coming. And I thought to myself, I have even mentioned it a few times in my videos over the years, and said, man, I wonder where that lady's at today. Well, somebody found her. She lives in Florida. In his new full-length documentary film, There's No Place Like Utopia, Joel Gilbert found Peggy Joseph, the Florida voter who became infamous during the 2008 presidential campaign for saying Barack Obama, quote, or would, quote, pay for my gas and my mortgage, end quote. Surprisingly, some 6 years into the Obama presidency, Joseph has turned against the president, disappointed that he did not deliver on his hope and change campaign promises. Peggy reminded me of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, who thought the magical wizard would solve all her problems, Gilbert told WND in an interview. When I finally found her address, I knocked on her door and brought her a pair of ruby slippers. You know, like Dorothy. When I interviewed Peggy, I was astonished that Peggy explained to me that she was now anti-Obama. She told me he was not who we thought or expected him to be. As Gilbert interviewed Joseph for his documentary, he was surprised to learn her life was quite opposite of the welfare mother image she had given on television. He was shocked to learn that she was a suburban soccer mom with 4 children who earned her living as a hard-working nurse, the daughter of Haitian immigrants. Even more surprising, Joseph and her children, like her Haitian immigrant parents, had no history of ever accepting any form of government assistance or taxpayer-funded handouts. Truth and honesty are important, she explained to Gilbert in the film. He lied about everything. Joseph explained that after doing some research and listening more carefully to Obama, she realized he was a fraud. And just like the Wizard of Oz, Obama has turned out to be nothing more than a man behind a curtain. She explained that her comments to a reporter in 2008 were a result of being caught up in the emotion of an Obama campaign rally, and she didn't think for herself. Gilbert told WND his experience with Joseph was repeated many times over as he filmed his new documentary, Speaking with New People. I'm in my journey through America, in the movie, his documentary, There's No Place Like Utopia, I met a lot of people living in horrible conditions, particularly African Americans, who I was surprised to learn were now staunch conservatives as a result of living in progressive controlled cities like Detroit, Chicago, and Newark, Gilbert said. After 60 years of progressive politics in their cities, they understood very clearly that they had not been progressing, but rather regressing all this time, and they were mad. They felt like they had been used and tricked by Obama for their votes, and that he never intended to keep any of his promises, just like the Wizard of Oz. So it says the movie premieres Friday, but it doesn't come out across the United States until I think August. Or let's see, somewhere around August, I believe. Wait a minute. Yeah, August or immediately after Labor Day. So that's one lady. There was another lady who was a little bit famous, not quite as famous as her, with her whole statement of gas and mortgage getting paid. And that was the Obama phone lady. Get your Obama phone. She's out there with signs. She's out there on the corners telling everybody about, you know, Obama and the Obama phone. Love this man, blah, blah, blah. Really promoting the president. And one of Alex Jones from InfoWars reporters saw the lady at an, I think at an airport somewhere. He was getting off and ran into her and recognized her and said, excuse me, you know, are you, you know, basically, are you the Obama phone lady? She said, yes, I am. Yeah, that's me. And then she made a comment that made him stand back. I forget what the comment was now, but it was something along the lines, yeah, I used to be, or, you know, and he's like, well, what do you mean you used to, what's up? And she went on to tell him that sucker's a liar, a cheat, you know, liar, cheat, he misled everybody, I don't stand behind him anymore, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, oh my God, I gotta tell my boss about this, Alex Jones, you know, meaning the boss, his boss, Alex Jones. And he's like, you know, would you be willing to do an interview? And Alex like, yeah, tell him I'll take him to dinner, we'll talk it over dinner, I've got to get this is a huge story. So sure enough, he brought her on the show, they went out to dinner, she told him the whole story, how it happened, why she did it, now how she feels. And another person who happens to be African American, so that's two now. And the reason I bring that up is because when it comes to Obama supporters, African Americans are probably the last one standing, if you know what I mean. Because he's black, he's the first black president we've ever had. We used to be slaves in the 1800s and earlier. Now that, you know, segregation, all that stuff is kind of, you know, for the most part anyways, gone away. And believe me, I know there's still racists out there and that sort of stuff, but for, you know, as a black person, you'd say, man, we've progressed as a race. It took a while, but for God's sakes, we've progressed. And now we've got a black president. Oh my God. You know, thank you, Jesus, this is the best day of my life. And then 6 years later, not even 6 years, when they started realizing he's a fraud, Obama, now they've, you know, can come out openly and say, yeah, I was taken, I was had, he got me. So when you have African American people who are staunch supporters of this man, Obama, now completely turning their back on him, openly saying, listen, I made a mistake, you know, I was caught up in everything everybody else was caught up. And I got to be fair here to everybody who voted for Obama, or even if you didn't vote but you still thought this guy, this is good. The hope and change he's talking about bringing, this is going to be great for the country. I have a question. Why shouldn't you have believed him? No one ever heard of him before this. First term, single term senator. No one can really find a background about the guy, right? I mean, there's not really anything out there on him. He comes out of nowhere. Hey, vote for me. I'm just like you, right? I'm not a career politician. I'm still, you know, first term senator. Vote for me. Hope and change. He's a black, again, he's a black guy. That'll be a big change for America. He said all the right words, promised all the right promises. Why wouldn't you vote for the guy? And sadly, it turns out to be another standard political joke in which you've been had again. So, what's to say some other guy you've never, or girl you've never heard of, comes up in 2016? Who's that person? I don't know, never heard of him. Oh my God, screw the Democrat and screw the Republican guy that the mainstream's talking about. That's the guy we want. The only way that will work, that you know that person's legit, is if the mainstream media ignores them or badmouths them. That's the only way you're going to know that's who I need to vote for. If the mainstream media keeps putting some Democrat in your face and keeps putting some Republican in your face and telling you those are your two choices like they do every single 4 years voting for the president, then you know, don't you dare vote for them. The lesser of two evils, right? Get ready for that crap again. Lesser of two evils, which one's the... This one's a rapist murderer, but this one only killed 3 people, so he's only got kills on his side. This one has kills and rape, so lesser two evils, we're going with this guy. Feel good about that decision. Final decision? Final decision. Feel good about it. Lock me in. What? You ever heard of voting for the person and not the party? Vote for the person. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be voting for a party ever, as a matter of fact. Because a party isn't standing in front of you. A person is standing in front of you. And people just say, well, I believe in the Republican beliefs, or I believe in the Democratic beliefs, so I'm going to vote this way or that way. I don't care who's standing in front of me. If you represent the Democrats, I'm voting for you. And on the other side, if you represent the Republicans, I'm voting for you. I don't care if they put you up there, I'm voting for you. What kind of moronic statement is that? Because they get to use the lesser of two evils. Yeah, well, he kind of hid his income tax, and this one, you know, they're both multi-millionaires, you know. But in a perfect case like Obama, he wasn't a millionaire. First-term senator, no one really knows about him. It was the perfect underdog to come up, change America. So now Americans are going to have a huge problem on their hands in 2016. And that's called, who in the hell do we vote for? And if you see Hillary on this side and Jeb Bush, oh, I'm going to be the Republican, I changed my mind, I'm going to run now. Get those pieces of crap out of here. Give me someone else. Rand Paul, Ron Paul, Jesse Ventura. Give me somebody else. Because I can't work with them. Take care.